शुरू कर दो. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the today's webinar hosted by Dr. Vishal Soni, Associate Professor, Department of Pharmacognosy at B.R. Nahata College of Pharmacy, Mysore University. Sir, today we are presenting webinar on topic Future Prospects of Pharma Education in Contrast to Pharma Industry by our eminent speaker Dr. V.K. Sharma, who is CEO and Director of Dezin Consulting Private Limited, Mumbai, visiting professor at Narsim Mohanji Institute of Management Science, Mumbai, and former Vice President Unichem Laboratories Limited, Mumbai. I think from 2012, we know Dr. Sharma as some of our students are being recruited in Unichem Laboratories for sales and marketing. From 2012, I am knowing Dr. V.K. Sharma, having vast experience of 28 years in consulting as well as coaching, marketing, sales, training, and business management. He has worked with leading pharmaceutical companies like Sun Pharma, Ipca Laboratories, Mankind Pharma, Glenmark Laboratories, Alchem Laboratories, and Unichem Laboratories. His 10 years of experience has been in the capacity of vice president or senior vice president in different pharma companies of Indian business. He has passion of developing people and motivate them by making them best performers. Also, VK Sharma sir is best found with 100 most influential marketing leaders by World Marketing Congress. He has achieved many certificates as executive coach as well as trend team coach by Marshall Goldsmith USA, certified coach by Ericsson Coaching International Canada. He has been accredited as a management teacher from All India Management Association, awarded life fellowship from All India Management Association, and Dr. V.K. Sharma has also served as guest faculty in top institutes in India, including IIM, IITs, associated with All India Management Association as external faculty. He is expert consultant to top research agencies across the globe. He has been a speaker in different national and international conferences. Now I hand over the online mic to Dr. V.K. Sharma for his presentation.
Sir, I
Thank you, Dr.
welcome you
Vishal.
from Karnataka College of Pharmacy. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Dr. Vishal. Thank you very much for inviting me. So I'll be taking around 30 minutes of the presentation, talking about prospect of pharma education or the management education in context with the current pandemic which is going on, and then we'll taking the different questions from the audience. So let's start, and in the meantime, I request audience to keep sending their questions so that just after almost a 30 minutes or so, we start taking your questions also. So currently, this with the ongoing COVID pandemic, the different industries suffering the loss. It's whether it's pharma industry or whether any other industry. By and large, barring a few where there is some e kind of industry is there or something like online education. Except those, as good as 80-90% of industry is the suffering loss. So pharma industry is no exception. And the pharma industry, when they suffer the loss, this spread a kind of panic or this that pharma education also, okay, whether what impact it is going to have pharma education or people who are looking at joining at pharma industry as a management capacity also. So as pharma industry is also suffering loss, so that is how the questions are being raised. But we need to know, okay, how much is the real loss. Everybody talk about the loss, and when some news comes in the newspaper or it comes in television, they're seen in isolation, and the way the presenter present the news, and that's how the kind of perception goes. So before starting into my further slide, I'll just look at what actually is the loss, which is more about the data. Now in the pharma industry, first I'll talk of domestic business. So domestic business, most credible data is available from the AIOCD, that is All India Organization of Chemists and Druggists, and they release monthly data. Sometimes they release a weekly basis also. And this data of the AIOCD is by and large as good as accurate because they take exact data from all the wholesalers and then extrapolate it. So its accuracy is comparative, is quite good. Now what this data says. In the month of March, this data shows that pharma industry, that is domestic business, has grown by 8.9%. Normally, our market industry goes somewhere between 9 to 10%, or you can assume somewhere 9 to 9.5% is average growth. So March month, which was the beginning month of pandemic, our growth is almost similar what our growth used to be. And that's what their data says. Now it comes to April. April, as per their data, industry has degrown by 11.9%. So where we could have expected a growth of somewhere between 9 to 10%, we have degrown by close to 12%. So precisely we can see we have done almost 20-21% less than what was expected out of us. Then come in the month of May, we have degrown by 8.9%. Now you can assume we have done almost 17-18% less what we are supposed to be done. But here after month of May, the kind of unlock has started, and that has started reflecting in the pharma industry also. Now the June month completely yet to get over, but the first week of June data is available, because I'm talking the data which is available in the public domain. I'm not talking some data which is available to me only and not to any one of you. So what data I'm talking, this is available for anyone or every one of you. So as per this June first week data, industry has grown by 10.5%, which is a kind of usual growth. So we assume by the end of the June, either we may grow or maybe almost negligible degrowth, or we may be some little bit growth, but kind of degrowth which was there in a month of April and may not be there. So precisely we need to look at, say, in April and May, we have degrown and or we have done almost 20% less than what was expected. When you look at it in complete year, this will amount to almost 3% of the sale. That's all. So the way we are making hue and cry, the way noise are being made, that is not actual loss. And this is what our data says. Now in this sale, there's a lot of sanitizer being sold in this time, last 3 months or so. Sanitizer sale is partly added here. Why it's a partly? Because this data come from certain channels. So this channel, some of the company who sell this material through that channel, it will pick up that sale. And some company who does not sell through the channel, that it will not pick up the sale. So how much actually sanitizer is sold, none of the data can really tell how much exactly it is. So even if we assume 50% of sanitizer data is not here, if I add there also, so this degrowth will further reduce. So the real sense, what I'm trying to say, the real sense, the kind of degrowth or so those things, the noise are being there, and that is not a reality. Now let us come to international market, because India get a lot of international business when it comes to pharma. So there are also some temporary loss, that is again maybe may not be. Why I'm saying so? Look at, say, how much of hydroxychloroquine we have sold in last 3 months. Almost 150 country we have exported, and everybody was buying, which HCQ was never produced that much. Paracetamol was already there, but excessive export has been there. Azithromycin, excessive export has been there. And now we are starting remdesivir also and favipiravir also. So more and more COVID related drugs are being exported from the India, because India is considered as a kind of world pharmacy. So overall, right now the data is not available, but overall we may be gainer as far as export business is concerned in pharma, because this pandemic is not limited to India. Pandemic is global, so demand of these products are increasing. So we may not be loser as far as international market is concerned. But then why this all the noise? See, there is something called fear business, and initially 2-3 months there a lot of noise was made regarding the corona, what this will do, what this will not do, and I'll come to also what exactly now doctor tell what it is. But it is, fear has been sold so much. Now government is making a very serious effort to taper it down. And that one example I want to share you. This is last week newspaper. This is some 16-17 Prime Minister has meeting with all the state chief minister. On the second day of the meeting, he has mentioned to all the chief minister, highlighted also, where it's mentioned, Mr. Modi has asked the CMs to make effort to address the emotional side of the people feeling a stigma attached to the disease and the fear of getting infected. A lot of fear is there in the people, which is not so reality. So too much fear we have sold, and now we are finding it difficult how to fear to go, this fear will go, because that is affecting more economy now. And it's an excessive fear. I'll come to some more slide why it is excessive fear. I'll come to that also. But it's a too much of fear, too much of stigma. And I'm not a medical doctor, but medically, lot of information is doing around, whether WhatsApp and all that. My suggestion there, don't go with that, what people spread unnecessarily. If you want to know from authentic people. And I can suggest you, there is a doctor with the name Dr. Shashank Joshi. Dr. Shashank Joshi is a very learned doctor. I have never met him. Only thing I have seen some video. He is a member of Maharashtra COVID task force. So basically, he is face of whatever in Maharashtra COVID task force is being doing. And this doctor, he will give the right information sometime here to him. Listen to this doctor. Initially, looking all the WhatsApp, different stories are there. So these doctors in the Bombay or the Maharashtra, they are treating the patient even now also. We may be talking when the vaccine will come. But well, till the vaccine come or so, with the available medicine, with the different permutation combinations, patients are being treated and they're treating well. Once you listen to this doctor, the different medicines are there by them, they are treating the patients now. So currently the major issues are there, this stigma associated with that, this noise or this too much of rumors business which is spreading, that is much bigger things. Now, one question was there, and this I'm talking from the one of the video of Dr. Shashank Joshi. As I mentioned, I'm not the medical doctor, so it's not right for me to talk anything medically, which I don't have the sound, background or sound reference. So what little bit I'm talking as far as medical part is there is by listening to Dr. Shashank Joshi only. How corona is spread, everybody says through mouth and all that, but actually is that nobody knows about the disease. That is certain that yes, it spread through mouth or nose or what we can the saliva. That is pakka. That everybody agree. But is it the only source? That is highly question mark. Because there's some doctors who believe, and there's a logical belief that this disease may be airborne also. So I'm not going to disease or justifying why it may be the airborne, but still it is not cannot be ruled out that this is not airborne. There are some doctors of the opinion that disease may be spreading by the anal route also. More so, they give the example from the Delhi, where most of the patients are from the one family, which people or say people where they're using the common toilet, from there it is spreading. Again, it is not confirmed. Again, maybe, may not be. So confirmed news are not there. It's all something is spread from somewhere. What is confirmed? It is spread through mouth or nose, or you can say saliva. That is the where people talk about using mask. That is certainty. Rest all maybe or may not be correct. So, but no one is sure of all the possible way of spread, how it is spreading, how it is finishing. But when you look at data in different country, how it is spread, how it contain, it give you different stories. So it's you can say partly fear business. A couple of months degrowth in the pharma industry, initial growth which we were used to 9 to 10% growth. Now there is a 9 to 10% degrowth in the April and May. That is the only issue. March we have grown, and June, as far as till now we are growing. Let's see what final data come. So that is the only thing when coming back to the pharma education or say pharma industry per se, and which is available in the data. Another problem in the pharma industry, which is real problem, is there has been increase in the operational cost. In the pharma, operation cost is there because of all this rumor. The cost of API has increased. There's active pharmaceutical ingredient. Once cost of API is increased, the profitability of the pharma company has reduced. Then there is an increase in the transportation cost because of migrant workers, many they have traveled. Although government keep on saying transport should be on, despite that, less transport is working and it is costly now. So these both the costs are the temporary. And the something, keeping the mask or keeping the sanitizer, all those things, some miscellaneous cost in the office also increase. So overall, in the pharma industry, operational cost has increased a bit. That is reality. But when it comes to degrowth, it is genuinely for 2 months. So a lot is attributed to this panic is uncertainty, and uncertainty is the real thing. People are uncertain, pharma companies are uncertain, and that is impacting us badly. So what fear is there, whether in the mind of the students, whether in the mind of the employees, It is primarily because of this uncertainty, which may or may not be real. So what this panic lead to? This panic or this uncertainty lead to freezing recruitment. Most of the pharma companies has freezed the recruitment, barring few. Some are doing, but majority has freezed. Many of the company has done the pay cut, and this pay cut or the salary cut, this is in the tune of somewhere 10% to 90% also. I have example of those companies who has 90% pay cut they have done last month, and I have the example of company also who has given increment also. So different companies, different treatment. Many company has done the layoff also. Some good company had they have entire divisions they have removed. Some company, a smaller company, they have reduced number of people. Some company they have reduced even closed down the operation also. So there is a heavy when say pay cut, layoff or recruitment. That's the reality. Nobody can deny that's what happening. So some companies recruitments are not happening. Some company pay cut doing, and some company closing the operation. So smaller parts more so. And more so, a lot of companies are not taking long-term decisions. In long term, if something they have to go for a senior level recruitment, a new expansion, or the fresh recruitment, all those things are by and large are the frozen. And a lot of things are say pending. So that's a real issue. That's where this panic leads to us. And this how it's spreading, and this spread of these things is the real botheration, what we can say. Real issues are three as far as pharma industry is concerned. One is profitability has got a hit. That is true. By and large, every company profitability is being hit. It's true. Secondly, again, real issue is there. Uncertainty about the future is there. Whether this pandemic will be over in 3 months or 3 years, nobody knows. So there's a lot of uncertainty, and businessmen normally don't put up their money when there is an uncertainty. And third thing is this pandemic or this phase will leads to change in the business model. Unfortunately, not many people are talking or touching about that part. So I'll just touch that part also because that is relevant here. So let's talk about this issue one by one in the brief. Profitability hit due to some weak business model. Why I'm saying so weak business model? When I'm saying say almost 20% hit in there in the business in the month of April and May, within those 2 months, there are some company who has shown the growth also. There are some company has shown the zero growth, some company who has shown the 20% growth, and there are some companies who has shown the 75% growth also, which means their business has reduced to be even 25%. So different company, different degrowth are there. And as people are saying, it is degrowth because of chronic segment or acute segment. That is not reality. It has to do with their business model. So because of business model, some company, despite this pandemic, are growing, and some company, despite this pandemic, because of this pandemic, they have degrown to as good as 60, 70, 80% also. They are not able to give the salaries. So that is a problem of the business model. Now, this saying, if your building get collapsed by the earthquake of Richter scale of 4, then you should not blame the earthquake, but the building only which was the weak. Earthquake only become the reason. I'm not saying the pandemic is not real, but the kind of loss is there in the pharma industry showing it's not that. Medicines are being sold right from the day one. Government is supporting the medicine sale, and there has been quite a crowd in the medicine shop. They may be selling more multivitamin, they may be selling more HCQ, they may be selling more sanitizer, but their sale is consistent are there. So some companies are gaining, some companies are losing. But when we are talking here, we are talking from industry perspective point of view, and that's what I share with you data also, how much real loss is there. So that's a problem of the business model, this profitability. Then there is uncertainty that is there. It's a quite a good accent. A question asked being when this pandemic will get over. No one knows. People tell different things. People talk about, some people say next 3 months, say by September. Some people say take 3 years. Now people give the different answer what it suits them. You ask anybody, if suppose somebody is doing e-education portal, somebody running, they will say, now this is the way of the future. Forget about 3 years. They feel like next 10, 20, 30 years, this will run like this only. If somebody is running a hotel, he will feel by next month or so it should be open. So people speak as per their own interests are there. And same way, different reports comes in the market. Some week back, a report come from a portal who basically organized teleconsultation. And this report is showing in last 3 months, there are 500% growth in the e-consultation or telemedicine in the India. So when you read such report, you feel like everybody is going for the e-consultation or telemedicine. They shows in last 3 months, 5 crore of Indian has got benefited by the telemedicine. I'm not saying the report right or wrong, but when you read this kind of report, it give you message that this is the only thing which is correct because something is printed. So people are saying in the market what is suiting them or what is suiting their business. Real sense is that whether this pandemic will get over in 3 months or 3 years, nobody knows. Whether I don't know, even Dr. Shashank Joshi also don't know. Donald Trump also don't know. So it's only time will tell. But I think we can say the next at least 3-4 months it is going to stay. Suddenly is not going to disappear. But whether disappear in 3 months, we cannot say. In America, people are talking because of election is there in November, that they think like, we can bring the faster vaccine, but whether vaccine will come by that time or not, we don't know. So a lot of uncertainty is there in the environment. So that's why I'm saying people are responding with the caution at it suits their business. And that is something we call in management language, called a kind of burning platform concept. People first create a fear, people first create the need, and they give the answer which suits them, which may or may not be proved correct. So we need to really look at what is happening. However, what is getting is clear, and what is now Prime Minister is also talking, and a lot of intellectuals are also talking now. The pandemic will have two deaths. One is medical, and another is social death. We are more and more talking about the medical death when the vaccine will come. Although, unfortunately, in the today's Times of India newspaper in Bombay edition, news has come what first vaccine will come will not be 100% successful. I don't know what was their logic, because medical news I'm not getting so much. So when this medical is dry, we don't know, because people are looking at more medical death. But what is more important is social death, or that is something social stigma attached, and that is something start happening. So now coming to third issue I was talking, change in the business model, real issues. So any change is threat to the existing player or the rigid player when any change happen in the market or industry. But any change is the opportunity to the flexible or innovative companies, and any change is good for youngster or the new entrant or the new entrants. Now you as an audience here, whether you're pharmacy graduate or you are doing pharmacy graduation or you're doing management graduation, you all are youngster. Any change happen in the market is going to benefit you. So you should not worry about all those things, what is happening and not happening. And I'll come to this some slides also, how it is improving also things now. So moving forward from here, when the COVID will die medically, nobody knows, because when the vaccine come, not clear. It may come in 3 months also, 6 months also, a lot of things depending on the American elections. But whether vaccine will be 100% successful, when the vaccine will be able to have the 800 crores vials or so, when this will be injected to everyone, all those questions are there. But the second part is there. Sorry, just before that, medical specialists are also not the same opinion, because when you talk to medical specialists, they also talk of the different comments they can give, but they can comment. I'm not commenting into much into that. But what is more important, social death has started. People start moving out. Now, if you see the Mumbai road, although Mumbai only 10% of offices are allowed, which means practically offices are not working. In spite of that, during the day, there is a traffic jam in Bombay. Evening, there is a more traffic jam. And in the morning, when I go out for a morning walk in the park and all that, I find 50% of the people move there without mask. So people have start declaring something, social death of the corona. So that is how change in the coming. Shops are start opening, businesses start moving, meetings start happening. All those things are there. Now coming to recruitment or job opportunity, which is more concerned to you. See, sporadic recruitment has started, but not very much. Some recruitment here and there, but something has just beginning. I see good recruitment in 3-4 month time because a lot of company has to put their house into order. They have played a lot of fear game. Now they have to talk about more of business. And I see down the line, say September, October, whether Corona does not go, but recruitment will start. And I look at say complete normalcy because we start living in normally with the Corona in by next year or so. So next year I'll see the normalcy. So what fear, what uncertainty I'm seeing from the recruitment point of view, from job market point of view, for the new entrant like you, I see this is the only year you have little abnormalcy. I don't see the problem in the coming year because you as a young people are more flexible to change yourself or adapt to the newer realities. So then what about the question of pharma education? When these things are going to normalize, so I don't see whether you're doing pharmacy, education, or you're doing management education. I don't see much question there, except these 3-4 months. And it's unfortunate the people who are passing out this year, they have to face all these things. But people who will pass out the next year, they will not have all these issues. Domestic pharma business in India is a recession free for at least 20-30 years. Why I'm saying so? Currently, we contribute only 1.5% of world market, although our population is 15% of world. So it's bound to grow. And at least 2030 it will keep on growing because we are market is only 10% of our population. Even in international business point of view, also we are already third largest in world pharma market by mean of volume and 10th largest by mean of value. So a lot of their growth has to be there. And India is considered as a world pharmacy. And more so, this will further consolidate within the China issues because of the COVID issue. The China credibility overall is going to little bit lose, which is our main competitor when it comes to world pharma. So we as a India is bound to gain from there also. So Indian pharma market is bound to grow in India domestically. It's bound to grow in the international also. And with the China issue or the COVID issue is going to help us. So I don't see any problem in the pharmacy graduate or management graduate who are looking at joining pharma industry. I look at they're going to gain out of this. Now, towards the end, I'll just talk couple of slides, something away from pharma education, little bit about COVID per se. To just what I spoke till now, just to connect with that in another 2, 3, 5 minutes. Who are at the risk? We need to look at, say, when we say we need to start living with the corona or living with the COVID, what does that mean? There are some people or some set of people who are at risk. The risk are there normally children below 15 years, our senior citizens below above 65 years, and people who have uncontrolled blood pressure, uncontrolled diabetes or kidney ailment, liver ailment, because most of the death are these people only, majority of that. India also, abroad also. And other weak people who have the weak immunity, people like the cancer patient or cancer survivor. That's why you see some deaths are there in last 2-3 months of the cancer survivor, or sorry, cancer patient who has gone the chemotherapy. They have the compromised immunity. Pregnant women. So these are the people who are at real at risk, and we need to save them. We need to protect them, and this protection has to go not only for 2 months, 3 months. I think it has to go at least beyond a year or so. As far as currently we see the picture. Now coming to threat. What is a threat? From a common people. Threat is a crowd of any time, whether it's a crowd in the train, whether crowd in the bus, whether crowd at airport, crowd at clinics, or crowd at any social function. That is the real threat. We need to avoid that crowd. Meeting more number of people is the threat, and that's the reason why so many politicians, not only India but abroad also, bankers, shopkeepers, and policemen are getting infected. When you meet more number of people, kind of public dealing, it's a problem. And when there is a repeated exposure, which give you more viral load, and that is the reason why many doctors or paramedical staff dies despite of all the precautions or protection. And it's not in India, it's a global situation. So these are some threats are there. So social distancing is the first protection, and face shield along with the face mask is the second protection. These two things are very, very important. Role of sanitizer is comparatively less. It is not so the way it is shown, but somehow it is being over promoted. Washing your hands with the soap is far better as compared to using the sanitizer. So wherever possible, wash your hand with the soap rather than the uses of sanitizer. Where water and soaps are not available, then only we should go to sanitizer. So if these are the threats, and just to conclude my talk, see, corona need to die socially well before the medical death, and that process has started. It is slow. I stay in Bombay. I'm more comfortable when I talk to people in the say Tripura or Guwahati or Kashmir, where people have 200, 300 cases, and Bombay every day we have got 1200 cases. We are more comfortable because we are more used to this. We have start learning with this. By and large, life is going as usual. We go to morning walk also. We go to market also. We can roam around the entire Bombay as per the government permission has already given. So all the things are working there. So Corona has to die well before medical death socially. Secondly, our working habit need to change a bit, and that is very necessary when we say living with the corona. So we need to change our working habit, and these are simply those always practice social distancing and mask. These two things are mandatory, and mask also either these should be three-ply mask. When we talk of the mask, this N95 is basically for medical people only, my paramedical staff. When we are talking the fabric mask you can use in your home, or you can use fabric mask in during the morning walk and all that. But normally when you go to market and all that, use the three ply mask or three layer mask, what we call. So this is important. Avoid any kind of social gathering, whether it's marriage function, anything is there that need to be avoided. Avoid or other any kind of crowd, and avoid meeting too many people every day, as I mentioned, where these people are getting infected. And build immunity with the different multivitamin, vitamin C, tulsi, ark, all those things, whatever way you can do to build immunity. I think that should be done. And last is, let us wait for the vaccine and social stigma to go. That will be the last thing. Vaccine may come, this may lead to medical death, and once the social stigma go, that will lead to social death of the corona. Otherwise, I can say you all are young people, and you will all emerge from the corona with very flying colors. Don't have any fear about it. The pandemic, it is not that serious also. When I just in 1 minute I compare with this pandemic with the pandemic 100 years back. I was just reading somewhere in 1980 when the Spanish flu comes, that pandemic, world population was 150 crore that time, and out of that, one third people, that is almost 50 crore people, got infected with that flu. And out of infected people, 10% dies, which means 5 crore dies, and which was almost say 3% of world population. So if you compare with that pandemic and this corona pandemic, it is nowhere. And when you listen, doctors who are treating corona, like as I mentioned, Dr. Shashank Joshi, they have got different medications with different permutation combination they are using. And now the different medication, last couple of days, you look at say remdesivir has started manufacturing in India. They have come, that is for serious cases. Favipiravir, which is for mild to moderate cases. HCQ, which is already there, that is for the prophylaxis for the vitamin C and all that. So we have sufficient things are available. Only thing, you should reach out to the right doctor. So that was there from me. I think I just finished in 30 minutes. So I'll welcome all the questions from you.
Thank you, sir.
Sir, thank you. There are some questions being asked by students.
Yeah.
As we have final year students with, as we have final year students, and they are ready to
Vishal, his
pharmaceutical
voice
company.
is echoing. I think it's not coming clear.
Okay, sir, we have final year students,
Yeah.
and they are ready to join the companies. So,
Mhm.
what will be their career opportunities? Means we can't call companies to the college many times. Some companies are being finalized with online interviews. Some students are being selected, but they are not finished up with their exams, so they are facing problem.
See,
So,
it's a matter of
how?
another 1 or 2 month time. See, Vishalji, I deal with both the side because as I associate with the one institution also where we are conducting exam next month, and I'm as a business consultant to some pharma companies also where we recruit people. So I am in both the sides. So basically, it's a matter of 1 month or so. From the pharma company point of views, they are a little bit postponing the decisions. Maybe let us wait for okay this 30th. Let us wait for the next 1 week, like this. So every week, 10 days, we are postponing decision. We are not postponing decision as a pharma company for months. From college point of view is concerned, now the final exam will be there in the month of July, and that time people will join. Students then it can start joining, and their college I am associated there. It is an internal exam. Internal faculty is taking exam. Like I'm taking 3 classes there, so I only will be taking exam, not the university. I don't know what about other your institute university cases. But what I'm saying, it's a whatever fear or this kind of things are there, it can be there another 1 month or 1.5 month time. By the end of the July, I think people will start joining and the company will start recruiting also.
Thank you very much, sir. Sir, yesterday we have some good news like Cipla and Heterodrugs are released some medicines for coronavirus. अब ये
Yes.
नीरव ने पूछा है सर कि क्या इसके 80% रिजल्ट्स जो ये बता रहे हैं या किस किस बेसिस पे इनने पक्का किया है कि 80% ये कोरोना को ठीक कर देगा.
See, as I
नीरव.
mentioned, different people who speak anything, they put their side of the story. You read any newspaper, they will tell what suits them. You read any TV channel, they will tell what suits them. The fact is that both the drugs, the Hetero and Cipla or Glenmark they have launched, they're basically anti-HIV drugs, which are already there. It is not something new invention. They have basically repurposed, or you can say new indication they are being, because this is also virus. And these drugs were already antiviral drugs. So that is the logic. They are not purely made for the corona or the COVID-19. So success rate cannot be 100% or so. They can be useful, and they are not supposed to be available freely also. Currently, they are supplying to hospital, so certain doctor will use. As of now, what is one drug is there? There's a Glenmark, that is remdesivir, that is indicated only in the serious patient, not otherwise, because drug otherwise that safety profile is not great. And second drug, which we're talking about, favipiravir, that is again for the mild to moderate cases. So it is not that everybody should start taking. Same way, HCQ, which was there, where a lot of noise was made because Trump start taking, that drug was not indicated for the cardiac patient. So all the drugs which are available are not those drugs that whether GP or everybody, any doctor start using it. So, and when you listen to the doctor who are currently treated, they have some options, they have some permutation combination already there. Now these 3 drugs or these 2 drugs added to that. So basically, in the treatment of corona armament, now 2 more drug has added, but they're far from the vaccine and they're far from the corona medicine.
Sir, Himanshu Joshi is asking this. There will be, is there any sudden growth in nutraceutical industries after Corona 19?
Actually, we were expecting sometime in the month of March and April. So there is a growth in immunity building some product. There is a growth in the vitamin C, but at the same time, unfortunately, in India, lot of nutraceuticals are being sold as a co-prescription. Now, with the financial condition of people has hit badly in last 3-4 months, so those co-prescriptions are being reduced significantly. So if you look at say overall, nutraceuticals are not benefiting as a segment per se. One side growth, one side degrowth.
Sir, Harshita Pagani is asking that how this pandemic led to medical loss, means how it can be recovered further.
Means I could not get.
Means after this pandemic, there may be losses to the companies.
Yes.
Means as you are saying that domestic market is only having 1.5% in overall contribution. But how this loss can overcome and how we can get jobs? If companies are already having losses, then how they can recruit the new people?
This loss, as I mentioned, if I in the beginning of my slide, I shown you data also. The degrowth was there in the month of April and May. There was a growth in the month of March, and as far as till now, that is first week official data available or that is public domain, there's a growth in the month of June also. Now, certain company where the business model were weak, they were not doing well, because in this platform or say public platform, I should not name any company. Some company who are already struggling, and those companies start falling down now. So some company will strengthen, some companies will fall down. Or broadly speaking, if you look at say manufacturing part, quality control part or overall plant, number of jobs are going to increase.
Increase.
When it comes to
Okay.
marketing, job will increase. When it comes to field sales, number of job overall may reduce, or I think will reduce as compared to pre-corona, but their salaries will be better.
Okay.
So there will be
Means
some change in the business model, the way we are doing. So overall, if I look at say pharmacy graduate point of view or management graduate point of view, I think you will be gainer only, not the loser. That fear, it's unnecessarily. Nobody easily give you, will easily say you that you have the great future, because people does not vacate the place, whatever they are holding. More the youngster, more the flexible people, better the future are.
sir, some questions have some common students have some common questions regarding their career. What M Pharma will be best after B Pharma or MBA after this pandemic? And what will be the salary structures? Are they going to be better with M Pharma or MBA? Where we should go? Because there are final year students and almost third year students who are pursuing B Pharma. Where
First
we
of all,
should go?
first of all, people who want to go to sales and marketing, they should not go for M Pharma. They should, after B Pharma, either they should join, or after B Pharma, they should take a route of MBA. There is no need to go to M Pharma. Once people are going to M Pharma, better they should go to plant production or quality or R&D, because there also number of job will increase. Now coming to second part of this question, okay, where salary is more. I think one should not look at where salary is more, and people see, but I'm still saying you should not see, or any student should not see that. Everybody has a temperament. Some student or some people temperament can suit better for sales and marketing. Some people temperament can suit better for the R&D, and somebody for the production. So where you suits better, you should go there, you can excel there, and you can perform there, you can earn everywhere. If your temperament is good for R&D and you go to sales and marketing because the growth prospect is better, and if you fail, then what? So different job profile require different temperament or different kind of people. In the sales marketing, you require more of patience, more of perseverance, more of convincing ability, more of communication, or can say more of tolerance, more of extrovertness, which is not in the case of R&D job. The person says, I don't want to travel. So, if you don't want to travel, you don't want to exert that way, take R&D job. There's no job easy or the bad or good or something or difficult. It's a different people. Some people enjoy traveling, let them take a traveling job. Some people enjoy being at home, sorry, at office. So it is not because of money you should choose. Choose based on knowing the job. What kind of people will be required? Sales and marketing. What kind of people require R&D? What kind of people require in production? That way people should join. Everywhere they can earn, people must not join on the basis of money.
Sir, one more question is there. Is this pandemic impacting pharma student life? Means, what will be our future in the coming years? Maybe some students who are going to get pass out can get job, but after 1 year, what will be our condition? Those who are in third year, how they are
People who are in
just like,
now, please,
मतलब ये
please
सोच
go
रहे हैं
on.
सर कि एक साल बाद मेरा होना क्या है। अब मुझे पढ़ाई करना है तो मैं किस स्ट्रीम में अभी से जाऊं। अब अगर ऑनलाइन मोड में ही मुझे पढ़ना है तो कितना प्रैक्टिकली मैं साउंड होने वाला हूं। ये कुछ क्वेश्चंस हैं सर जिसके लिए मैंने आपको शायद से इसके लिए इन्विट में बच्चे भी परेशान हैं और हम एज ए टीचर्स भी परेशान हैं। ये बहुत सारे टीचर्स यहाँ पे ऑनलाइन इस चीज को वॉच भी कर रहे हैं कि अगर फार्मा कोर्स की बात करें तो टोटली इट इज प्रैक्टिकल बेस्ड कोर्स, बट अगर ऑनलाइन एजुकेशन ही चलनी है तो कैसे होगा सर ये सब।
मैं बिल्कुल नहीं कहता कि ऑनलाइन एजुकेशन ही चलनी है। ऑनलाइन एजुकेशन, जैसे मैंने पहले बताया, पीपल गिव द different answer what suits them. You talk to any company or any institute which has online system, they says now the future is online. But you look back in the past, if somebody pass out as a correspondence course and people who passed out the regular, is there difference or no difference? There is certainly difference. So this online education or this online, so many things are happening, it's something temporary. This is not going to vanish. This will be one mode, but ultimately that regular education, the regular interaction, that will come back. And as of now also, if you look at, say, under threat category, the student who are the more than 20 year of the age and all that, they are not actual real threat from the corona and all that. If they practice the social distancing, mask and all those things, I think they can be safe. And this fear will go out in next couple of months, and I hope that class will be starting.
Thank you
So
very much,
people
sir.
should study, and the job point of view from next year onward, it will be as good as normalcy. Global point of view, more companies will come into India. There will be more job, particularly in the manufacturing and the quality, because first first you can say beneficial will be in the manufacturing sector and then the service sectors.
Thank you very much, sir. And this session is really very much informative. Webinar will definitely enrich the student as well as faculties about the future prospects, maybe pharma education in context to pharma industry. I want to convey my thanks from BRNCP family, Mansoor University family for giving your valuable time. Also thankful to all participants, industry persons, students, research scholars, faculty to listen the webinar and patiently watching it. Thank you very much, sir. Thank
Thank
you.
you,
Thank you, sir.
Vishal. Thank
Thank
you
you.
very much. Thank you.
Sure, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Can I leave now?
Yes, sir.